Hi, this is Adam Eliel Berkowitz from Prophecy News Talk, a writer for Breaking Israel News. Um, Today was Yom HaShoah, the Remembrance Day for the Holocaust in Israel. Um, and some really remarkable things happened to me. Yesterday, on an impulse, I connected with and went to meet in Tiberias, in Tveria, um, an amazing gentleman by the name of Alexander Dietz. He is German and Christian and has decided to try to do a tikkun, do a fixing on the difficult history between Christianity, between Germany and Israel and the Jews. Um, and he's doing this as a Christian. So his group, what they call Reformation, which is also trying to do a fixing on what happened with Martin Luther. It's been 500, almost exactly 500 years since the Reformation of Martin Luther, which was an amazing start towards something really glorious, but in the end was marred by anti-Semitism. So their group, Reformation, is um, is trying to fix that, trying to bring to take out the anti-Semitism that has marred Christianity. And a lot of people, we do know that the source of that anti-Semitism is replacement theology. It's the belief um, that Christianity replaced Judaism in the covenant. I think parts of that because the covenant isn't entirely understood. It is not a big prize that you get. It's a function, a job. And of course, people can help. Um, and sometimes I wish I could run away from the job, but I can't. So I met with him, and his group is bringing over, and hopefully it'll be here in just 2 days, a 265-pound gold-plated menorah that is an exact replica of the menorah depicted in the Arch of Titus in Rome, which is the menorah that Rome stole away from the temple in Jerusalem. And they are bringing it back in precisely the opposite route because they believe that Rome was an attempt to steal the divine presence from Jerusalem, which could never, it can't be done, but it was an attempt to do so. And the Vatican was an attempt to replace the temple. And they want to fix that. And for the world, not just for Israel. Um, so I'll put the link to the article below. It's really an amazing discussion I had with him. Uh, right away, I felt like he was a brother. I really love that man. Um, at the same time, something horrible. I read something horrible today that the shooter in the synagogue in the Poway Chabad synagogue outside of San Diego, he spent a lot of time in his evangelical church. Um, and he had problems with the evangelical belief, but in the end, he came to the conclusion that the Jews murdered Jesus and that the Jews are evil, and therefore he was justified or even required to kill Jews. I I had a kind of hard online dialogue with a Muslim man from Morocco. I don't think people realize that Islam is an even more extreme case of replacement theology. It's replacement theology on steroids. They believe that all the biblical characters who connected with God were therefore Muslims, and that there is no religion other than Islam, and we all must submit to Islam. And in the end of days, Jesus will appear to convert all the Christians to Islam. And there's a grave prepared for Jesus for after he performs this function in Medina, in Saudi Arabia. As a Jew, I find that deeply disturbing that they would usurp a section of someone's religion. But then again, that's what replacement theology is. So this all came together on Yom HaShoah, on the Holocaust Remembrance Day. And after meeting with Alexander, I felt so phenomenally blessed that, considering 2,000 years of difficult history between Jews and Christians, here I am, a Jew in the land of Israel, connecting with this amazing Christian man who's doing this amazing tikkun, and I can connect with him on that. It's unprecedented, unexpected. It goes against all of history. So I I feel blessed to be part of that, to witness it, to write about it. But at the same time, the other things are, I can't ignore them. The fact that the New York Times is turning into a hotbed of anti-Semitism, and they're not even aware of it. We have Democratic members of Congress who are openly anti-Semitic, and no one can come out and scream at them. It's not like what we should do is we should be screaming. This is open, blatant anti-Semitism, and the next step will lead us right back to the Holocaust. It's inevitable. And what I'd like to say is, until now, the only people who have cared were the Jews. The solution is not going to come from the Jews. Jews are going to continue to be killed and hated and lied about. Judaism is going to continue to be hated. The Torah, the Bible, God is going to continue to be hated until there is a change in Christianity. The solution will not come from the Jews. The solution has to come from people like Alexander, from you. And I hate to say it, not all of the Jews are passionate about this, but people who love the God of Israel. And as Alexander said, all you have to do is read the Bible, and that is how the Christian God, the God of the Bible, is referred to as the God of Israel. That's how he describes himself. It's not that you're becoming Jewish, you're saying Judaism is right, we get more points, yeehaw, we won the game. No. The God of the Bible describes himself as the God of Israel. If you hate the Torah, if you hate the Jews, if you hate the God of Israel, you're not left with much. This solution, the solution, and the Messiah will only come when Christians end anti-Semitism, when they reject replacement theology. No, this does not mean the Jews won. No, this does not mean that we get a temple that you can't come into. We need a house of prayer for all nations. The Jews are going to serve the world as priests. The Kohanim are going to serve Israel as priests. And on this day, Yom HaShoah, I'm putting out a call, please, I'm begging. We have to reject any form of replacement theology. We have to reject Christian replacement theology. We have to reject Muslim replacement theology. As my dear, dear friend Tommy Waller said, God hates replacement theology. There are a lot of misunderstandings in Christianity that prevents Christians from coming closer to Jews. There's a long history of misunderstandings. Misunderstandings about the third temple being the temple of the Antichrist, misunderstandings about Jews' role in the Messiah, misunderstandings about what the Bible means when it says Israel, what the Bible means when it says God of Israel. So I'm putting out a request to all my friends, Christian, Muslim, Jewish. We need to fix this problem. And this is going to come from outside of Israel. That's your job. When you do that, we can serve you as priests. If you kill all the priests, then you can't go into God.